Hello everybody. For today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the 3 support starter items and then their upgrades, and then explaining in what situations you'd want to go them and why. This will cover any team comp reasons, any just playstyle reasons, or any reasons I can think of that would entail why you would go each of the support starter item options. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. This is meant a little bit more for the newer players, but definitely can be helpful to the experienced players as well. If you do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and let's go ahead and begin. So the first thing I want to talk about, and when you're choosing your support starter item, is what type of character are you? Are you a character like Ganesh, who is typically seen as a more peel-focused support that has damage? Or are you a character like Bacchus that is seen as more of a damage-focused support that has peel? That matters, and when you're picking your support starter item, because typically, when you look at these the 3 support starters as a base, when you just break them down to their simplest forms, you have 3 options. You have your peel option, which is benevolence. You pick this if you want to play a more backline peel focus support and let your solo laner and your assassins be the ones starting the fights. You have your damage options if you're the one that wants to start the fights. You want to buff your allies, you want to be strong, you want to get the fight going. You have your war flag, and then you have a mix of both, which is sentinels. This lets you be both passive and aggressive, as it grants you a lot of protections, and it grants your team protections as well, or it gives you a lot of sustain when you upgrade it. So those are your 3 options and when you'd want to go them. It just really, you break it down to what kind of character are you. The next thing you should really consider is what does your team need? Because that can really impact your decision. Specifically, when we talk about what does your team need, we're talking about the upgrades later on. You need to be thinking about this as soon as you start the game, because you cannot change this decision later. This needs to be your immediate thought, is what does my team need to win this game? Because each of these do vastly different things. War flag is all about giving you and your team lots of damage, lots of attack speed, movement speed, power, all that fun stuff. Sentinels is all about sustain and tankiness, whereas benevolence is all about peel and different ways to protect your team. So let's break it down, starting off with that peel idea. And let's talk about compassion and heroism. Typically, if you're playing a character that wants to have blink, you don't go compassion, because for those of you that don't know what compassion does, let's over it real quickly, is that is not compassion, that is here. I love this game. What a great game. For those of you that don't know, what compassion does is damage taken by allied gods within 70 units of you is reduced by 15% up to a maximum of 100 damage. So basically, you're giving your teammates free aura mitigation. But when you look at this passive, specifically the wording is, after that is the reduced damage is redirected to you as magical damage. What that means is this is essentially always putting you in combat if your teammates are at all taking damage. This includes minions, gods, all that stuff. So, if you are a character that likes to go the blink relic, just to show you real quickly what I'm talking about here, blink rune, this will prevent you from blinking in because it is always putting you in combat, making it so you cannot get that engage proc. So if you're playing an aggressive character, you really don't want to go compassion if you know you're going to want blink, especially because the radius for it is pretty big, but it's not that big, so you're not really getting too much benefit of it. So generally speaking, compassion, you're going if the enemy team has a lot of damage, especially a lot of backline damage, like if they're able to dive pretty easily. But you're a character that doesn't want to go blink or doesn't want to be super aggressive. That's when you would go compassion. If you want to go heroism, or when you should go heroism, is whenever you're playing against a team comp that has a lot of heavy, hard CC. We're talking about characters that if they get that CC off on you, it's essentially just a free kill if you're squishy. Specifically, this item is a hard counter to gods like Loki. Whereas Loki it'll do damage, but then they're granted a huge health shield because it's based off of your maximum health, which is amazing. I love that. Great choice there, high-risk design team. So this item is exactly that. When they have team comps that are very heavy dive with heavy CC. Now, granted, you only get the shield once, so they can proc it in other ways, and you have to play around that. This isn't just a trump card that just wins you the game. You need to really be careful about when you really need to be careful about where you're positioning in team fights, because you don't want this getting procced by a Kepri Bowl or something like that. You want this to be procced by those big stuns that lead to instant kills. But in generally speaking, that's when you'd want to go heroism, is when the enemy team has a heavy CC comp. Now, I did earlier say benevolence is typically for your backliner supports, but an aggressive support can afford to go heroism if you really need that shield for your teammates. It really just depends on what your team needs. You are making a sacrifice by sacrificing yourself from the War Flag or Sentinels bonuses, but keeping that teammate alive, even for just a second longer, is going to be super impactful, because that could be the difference of them getting an ult off or killing somebody. You never know. And that is the benevolence skill tree. You see, it's pretty quick, fairly simple to understand. You know, when you break it down like this, there's a lot of different caveats, but and we could talk about the stats all day, but what I'm here talking about is just the general idea of why you want to go these, because the stats can change. They can nerf and buff whatever they want, but the general idea typically doesn't change. That's what I'm talking about here. Next up, let's talk about our damage-focused support starter item. This is geared more towards, you know, your aggressor supports like Bacchus or maybe a Fafnir, just characters that really benefit from starting the fights or going in, or also characters that just like buffing their allies, which is why I mentioned Fafnir. War Flag is very fun. It gives your team aura, attack speed, and movement speed. And let's talk about when you'd want to go this. Ideally, you want to go this on somebody that either benefits from early attack speed, or if you're playing with teammates that benefit from early attack speed. Specifically, I like to build this a lot when I have an auto attack jungler, as well as a AA focused carry, not like an ability focused carry like a Marticarus, but like, let's say for instance, I'm playing within Arachne or Kali jungle, and then my carry is like an Apollo or a Rama or something like that. Then this would get a lot of value, because you are going to have an immediate boost over your teammates. You're going to immediately have a power spike, because once you kill those minions, you're getting an absurd amount of attack speed and movement speed early on, allowing you to kind of rush them down, which can lead to a lot of early kills. Specifically, this item pairs really well with gods that already have a really good early game. So characters like Ymir, characters like Fafnir benefit from it a little bit, but Ymir specifically has one of the best benefits because of his passive. So just keep that in mind. But also warrior supports benefit the most out of War Flag, because they are naturally supports that want to just go in and do damage. Or assassin supports, because the reason you typically play assassin supports is because their base damage is so high already, you can build defense on them and still do a lot of damage. So getting War Flag on those guys helps a lot. Now let's talk about the upgrades and when you'd want to go them and why. War Banner is just very simple. This is the better of the two outright. Even with the Spartan Flag buffs, I still think War Banner is better. Simply because although it's a lot more niche to get the proc, you have to get the assists. There's a lot of options now to get those assists. There's so many different jungle camps you could be fighting around, and there's all these minions, and there's a lot of different ways to get those procs. But just to give you the full breakdown, War Banner, sorry, my hold on, sorry, my cat is attacking my keyboard. Hello, Matcha. Stay over here. Thank you. War Banner is essentially the same as War Flag, just better. It is, you're still getting the exact same procs. You're getting the aura attack speed or movement speed whenever you're getting stacks. Whereas Spartan Flag is when you hit an enemy god with an ability, you call down an AoE flag, providing your team with 10% extra power and 10% attack speed. Those are good buffs, do not get me wrong, but you're getting power as the base stats versus War Banner, where you're getting defense for the base stats. And then if we look at the movement speed specifically, and the attacks, or the attack speed specifically, which again, this could change. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but the attack speed, you're getting 4% up to 10 times because it's 10 stacks. So it's 40% attack speed. War Banner, or sorry, a Spartan Flag only gives you 10%, which again, you're getting this guaranteed because you just have to hit an enemy god and you get the flag. It's a pretty big radius. But that's only 10% versus 40%. This saves your carries from building an extra attack speed item if they don't want to. So those are just things to think about. Both of these pair really well with items like Shokun's Kusari. And those are definitely things you should all be taking into consideration, you know, build path, team comps and whatnot. I would always recommend going War Flag if you have a team that has more than one, or more, actually, let's say more than two or more auto attack characters. Like maybe you have an Amaterasu solo or Bologna solo, a Arachne jungle, Kali jungle, Set jungle, and then just carry. You know, there could be any combination of auto attack based characters, but if you have 2 or more, and sometimes even just 1 or more, War Flag is going to be a very good option for you because both of these benefit your team greatly. It's just War Banner is a little bit better. And then next off, we have a mix of both, a mix of peel and aggression, because what Sentinels does is it just gives you raw tankiness. Sentinels gives you protections, and the upgrades do similar things. Sentinel's Embrace gives you aura protections, and Sentinel's Boon gives you an absurd amount of sustain. You're getting 3% health and 4% mana every time you get an assist. That's insane. One wave gives you 18% of your max health. And then that's just an insane number. It is very strong. So when would you want to go these? Well, ideally, you could just go this when you don't know what you want to go. This is kind of like what this item is for. It's a, I don't know what the word I want to use for it is, but it's kind of your noob-friendly item where it just gives you stats. It's very good. Like, you read the base stats for Sentinel's Gift, which, again, don't dive too deep into it because it could change, but you're getting 10 of each prot, health, MP5, and then an amazing passive where you're getting gold and mana sustain and health sustain. That's amazing. You just sit back and you're getting healed up. It's very nice. It's just a raw stat stick. So you can go this if you really aren't sure if you need Benevolence or War Flag, but as you can see, these two can definitely give you a lot more niche counter building aspects or just strength building aspects as well. But that's not the only reason you go Sentinels. It's a very good item. It's like the most built support item for a reason. And that's because the starter item upgrade they're both so good. Like we talked about that boon, how good that is, but the Embrace, that's just an insane aura prop buff for your whole team. If we look at that real quickly, evenly split 60 physical and magical protection among all allied gods within 55 units of yourself. So whoever's around you, you're evenly splitting 60 of each prot to them. If you're by yourself, you're getting 30 of each prot plus the base. This is a very good aura item. You know, even when you're out of mana in a team fight, you still want to be around your teammates, giving them these prots, which is very important. And again, Sentinel's Boon, this is just an amazing sustain application. This keeps you alive for so long. It is so powerful. It should never be overlooked. So in what specific situations or team comps would we go these? Well, it's very simple. Go Sentinel's Gift or Sentinel's Embrace and Sentinel's Boon if you're the only tank on the team. If you're the only tank on the team, you being extra tanky and making your teammates tankier as well is going to be the best thing you can do for your team. Hands down, the best thing you can do for your team. If you have a mage solo or an assassin solo and they're building damage, or even if they're building a hybrid with like one defense item, just go this. You're going to be so much happier. You're making everyone tanky with Embrace. You're making yourself super tanky and having lots of sustain with Boon. You're just going to be a happy camper. You can also go this item if you just want extra tankiness. That's really what it is. If the enemy team has likewise to your team, if you are the only tank, if the enemy team also only has one tank or no tanks and they all have damage focus, if they have a very heavy damage focus comp, go Sentinels. Giving your teammates the extra prots is going to be very important. And I know I talked a lot, but hopefully that helps clear things up because, you know, building can be confusing in this game. That's like 90% of the game is building, and then not 90%, I'd say like 60% of the game is building, and then the other 40% is game sense. Mechanics don't really matter if you know what to build and know what you're doing. You can, because I mean, you all watch my channel. I miss like fucking all my abilities, and I still am in Diamond plus lobbies, fragging. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know, again, leave a like, comment what you want to see next, and please subscribe. I will see you all later. Peace out, have fun, and go support. Go be the support that the Smite community needs, because as you can see, oh, it's working now, but as you saw earlier, this is a broken game, and this broken game needs our support. So go support the players in this game. Love you guys. Peace out.